Tremble before my power. Offer you a reckoning.
Stand still. Good times. Time to say bye. Boom. Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind. Relax. Stand still.
Memories beneath the water lies an endless abyss. Such endless mixes ravage. Your pride rise. Endless mixes ravage. Your pride rise. Behold the power granted by them! Memories beneath the water lies an endless abyss!
Good times. Time to say bye. Boom.
Destiny is the chosen. Ill fate to stay.
Stand still. Relax. All will be swept away by the wind. Eternal.
Redemption. Offer you a reckoning.
Stand still.
There's more to life. What do you want to know? Ill tidings.
Good times. Time to say bye. Boom.
Power translates into hope. Beneath the water lies an endless abyss. Endless mixes ravage. Your pride rise. Go the past. Memories are ever beneath the water lies an endless abyss. Endless mixes ravage. Your pride rise.
Good times. Time to say bye. Boom. Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind.
Thrashing and snapping, not worth fearing.
Relax.
Seal me.
Alright, so Pollux is here for the first time in Apoc Shadow, and I have to say, this is the most restrictive version of Pollux that we have gotten so far. Now, obviously, this is a big casterous push boss, although you can still use characters like Jinliu, Maide, and Blade to lesser effectiveness. One thing that I will say though is Pollux being here and the fact that in 3.7 we're literally getting Hyacinth, Casterous, and Tribby running all at the same time is some absolutely absolutely diabolical work. And I suspect there's going to be a lot of players that are going to feel pressure to get Hyacinth, get Castorus, get Tribby. It's almost a complete package, like right there. In fact, it is a complete package if you're willing to use Remembrance Trailblazer within that party. All three characters being ran at the same time. I think the only thing that I would notion to anyone is that we are coming close up on 4.x. I remember back during the 2.x era when we had the Super Break getting pushed really hard. Sam was being pushed really hard. The Triple Elite Past, Present, Future was getting pushed a lot in Memory of Chaos. And then we went into 3.x and Past, Present, Future was almost nowhere to be seen for MLC 11 and 12. Almost nowhere to be found. I think something similar is going to happen with Pollux once we go into 4.x. Pollux is probably not going to be popping up nearly as frequently as the boss is now. Castorus, Hyacinth, Tribby, I'm sure is still going to be fine. Although I do suspect in 4.x, if miHoYo really wants to cut back on the frequency usage of Castorus and these other characters, they're probably going to be creating more enemies that don't favor healing or will prevent the team from healing. Something along those lines to make sure that that archetype is not as efficient as it could be. Or what they'll do is they'll put players in a position where it's like, if you want to keep running this, you're going to have the most premium setup of this as you can. So no substitutes, all premium characters. You're going to have your Cyrene, you're going to have your Hyacinth, your Castorus, and you are going to just run that team just like that. It'll be interesting seeing how things are going to be going to the future. I don't know what 4.x is really even going to bring, to be honest. We could be getting a whole bunch of defense scaling characters. We could get introduced to a completely new archetype of character. Hopefully we don't get a new path, because we got Remembrance in 3.x, and again, we don't have a whole lot of light cones for that path as of yet. So hopefully we don't get introduced to another gameplay path once we hit 4.x. I don't know how things are going to be going into the future. Again, I'm not really going to guess too much. I'll ultimately worry about it when we get there. Me personally, I'm worried about what's here and now. I'm not thinking about the future too much. I know there's a lot of players out there that are going to be thinking about the future, and they may be potentially somewhat sabotaging themselves. Unless they're like a new player that just recently came into the game, like maybe like a couple of weeks ago, I would advise for those players to wait things out until like 4.x to see what's going to be on the horizon. And if you're interested in anything like that, to go ahead and invest into it. But for players like myself, I'm not going to be in a position to where I could just completely dedicate myself to a complete full-blown new 4.x team. More than likely what I will end up having to do in 4.x, similar to what I've done with 3.x, is look for characters that are going to strengthen what I already have. Because at the end of the day, that's going to be a lot cheaper in comparison to building a completely new team from the ground up. That's going to be extraordinarily expensive. Even though, yes, my aim is to get Finon on his rerun when he comes around and see if I have enough resources to pick up Cyrene as well. I don't know if I'm going to have enough for everything. It really just depends on how my pools end up going. In the worst case scenario, I'll probably be able to pick up Finon, and then I'll have to pick up Cyrene on a rerun, but I'll worry about that when that time comes. And plus, in 4.x, they may release a whole slew of characters that I don't personally have too much interest in, although I highly doubt that's the case, because historically speaking anyways, miHoYo has released so many characters that I wouldn't mind playing or having on my account, because they do a really good job creating cool characters that I'm interested in. So it's a lot harder for me to just be like, you know, I can go without, I can just skip, because in Genshin Impact, they've made a lot of characters that I just personally don't care about. So it was a lot easier for me to just be like skipping characters in Genshin Impact in comparison to Honkai Star Rail. I skip characters in Honkai Star Rail just because I'm always limited on funds. If I could have every character, I probably would. Actually, no, I wouldn't. There's certain characters I personally wouldn't want to have, but those number of characters is just so small that it's not even funny. Going back to Pollux real quick to like wrap up my thoughts on this particular boss, I do think in 4.x, the frequency of this boss popping up is going to be a lot less frequently. So I guess my own advice that I could say for anyone who may be thinking, oh, I want to get Castorus because of this specific boss, I would advise that you should get Castorus just because you like the character, not just because she's going to be good versus a particular boss. Because again, as time goes by, these bosses are going to pop up less and less frequently, because miHoYo is going to be focusing on whatever's in 4.x. There's going to be new elites, new bosses, so it's less likely that you're going to see Pollux popping up. That's all I have for today's video. If you have taken out the time to watch this or listen to this, I just want to say thank you for your time. You be safe out there. Deuces.
This is double speed. Time for fun. This combat needs optimal. This is double speed. This combat needs optimal. This is double speed.
Eternal sleep and return! The blade knows no mercy. Your end approaches. Savor it fully.